We are both sitting here as 47-year-old podcasters.
47
47. I turned 47 last week. You turned 47
in
in
October.
October, and we sit here.
Happy birthday.
Thank you, love. 47 years on the planet. How many years married?
23, I think.
23 years
Is that
married.
right? No.
It's either 22 or 23. It's been such
We
a
keep getting
pleasant
it.
journey that they just
Right?
goes
It's
from
just-
dream to dream
wow.
to dream. So I don't even
Still-
keep track. But we're going to sit in one thought today, and we have had fun going. At 47, there are some things we're absolutely convinced about, especially relationally. And we're going to share one of those. And it's different than a thought or an idea, which we love, which we share often. And there are some things that we are completely convinced about, meaning these are time tested. These are things that we believe more and more every day. And I think it's going to be really helpful.
Yeah. I mean, we've been doing life, marriage, leadership, and growth long enough to say this, I think. So
Yes.
there are some things that we don't think anymore.
Just think.
Yeah. We're actually convinced of them. And so we've lived long enough. We've failed. Well, you've failed mainly.
Laura Lentz.
We've failed. And we've tried enough and learned enough that we can say, okay, this one thing we know. And so that's what we're going to be speaking about today.
Yeah, and this has been a really fun part of this aspect of our journey. I was explaining to somebody the other day, it's like, what do you guys do on your pod? I'm like, well, we just try to give as much as we can from the road we've been on, the road we're on, and where we're trying to head. And apparently we're really normal. We always used to say that about church. Why our church always thrived is because we felt like we were just reasonable, normal people. And lo and behold, so is everybody. You know,
Yeah.
you sometimes have an old school desire. I want to be great. I want to be elite. If you were, you would relate to no one. So sometimes there's beauty in going, you know what, we're incredibly normal and I think reasonable people.
Yeah, we don't speak to things that we can't fully stand on with certainty.
Yeah.
We, with wisdom, yes, of course, we can say some things. So personal conviction is that we don't feel compelled to give people simply just some ideas or ideals
To point to.
Yeah. But we can enjoy using and speaking to what we're convinced of.
Yeah.
And so that is the way we frame what we give people.
Our personal pet peeve, which isn't what this is about, is when people speak to things as though they're fact, when really there's just not a ton of evidence or life experience for people to speak to it like that. That's what TikTok is full of. That's what makes me laugh.
Yeah.
I look at the algorithms of the day and I'm like, man, do we live in a world where you could just get in front of a mic, you could say things like they're fact. And sometimes there can be beauty to that, but I get it. I get a real kick out of the way people handle that. Like, I think I saw somebody the other day was like, therapy is ungodly. It was just, I'm sure she's a sweet woman. She's doing her best, but she was like, why would you go talk to a person when you have the word of God? She's
Wow.
single. She's single. She is, doesn't do full-time ministry, but it's like so to speak with certainty, maybe for you, it's just a posture.
Yeah,
That's
right.
the thing that we're always, really intent on sharing with people. Like, so therapy is ungodly. Says who? Your opinion is this. It's not ungodly. If anything, feel free to just couch your opinion with like, here's what I'm finding, maybe, but to say it like it's fact. And that's what our world is full of. And people
Right.
just shovel that stuff in.
Okay, so we're convinced if you make consistent investments into your marriage, it builds a foundation of safety and trust that nothing else can replace. And there's a major theme, consistency compounds connection.
Yes.
We all say marriage matters, but if you look at your schedule, your words, your thoughts, your phone habits, would they prove that? Because I'm not convinced that they would.
It is the key word, consistency.
Yeah.
And we're like, what do we know to be true? If you build this every day consistently, it will radically transform your life. And to me, it's like it's a non-sexy, non-flashy picture of laying bricks every day.
Yeah.
If you do it every day, you look up at some point and you're like, oh my gosh, we have this amazing thing we built. and you can't replace it. There's a lot of people who try to do marriage without this foundation of safety, and we're like, forget about all the bells and whistles stuff. Like every single day, show me right there where where you're proving this matters. And I got two major things to say about this right off the bat. And so if you're in your car, don't type it. Just try to remember this. If you're listening somewhere, shout out to, we have a lights on couple that listens every date night. You're awesome wherever you are. I hope this is going to be helpful for you. But like many small contributions in a marriage are, in my opinion, way more effective than the big, splashy investments that happen rarely. Many small. So I would rather have a marriage where we do little things every day correctly than what we have found, especially the older you get in marriage. Couples have no connection, but they have big vacations. And they have like big anniversary dinners. And there are these big, flashy things, but they don't have the same substance as the everyday consistency of building these safety habits. So that's what I really believe is true. So if that is you and you're like, well, I invest into my marriage, I'm not saying you don't. I'm asking what kind of investment. I took my wife to Switzerland last year. Incredible. That's a splash. We are about the faucet just being turned on every single day. So I think our marriage is based on proof, not idea. Prove it to me. We say it all the time. Prove it. Prove it. So there are things in my life that I believe in as your husband, but I got to be able to prove it with some freaking evidence. So it's like, and this is how crazy the TikTok new commentary world is. There are so many ideas. You can listen to podcasts all day, get 77 ideas, but I believe in these ideas.
Or 7 ideas.
6 or 7 ideas. Where? Show me where. Where is the proof of it? So it's like someone's like, I am passionate about handling my money better. I've listened to 3 pods. That's my future. Cool. Where's the proof? Well, I got 7 ideas. Now, what are your habits? You said you want to handle money better. And in fact, when you look across your life, there's nothing there that shows that. You don't go to school again. You don't have a mentor. You're not constantly revisiting your budget. You're not reading books about that. Like there's no proof. So it's a great check to ask yourself. If you say, I'm serious about my marriage, maybe today is a good day to go, I'm actually haven't been serious because there's no proof. Today is the day. I am serious about my marriage, and this is how I'm going to prove it. And if you are single, shout out to you. If you're listening to this podcast, you're elite level smart because you don't have to go through drama and wreckage or hard lessons to learn your lessons. You can pick and choose from people that you trust and that you glean from and start to build this now. So it's a cheat sheet. If you really want it to be that way, you can start to build your own life in the same way you're going to build it when you have a marriage. So go to, so our big idea today, small but frequent investments into your marriage lead to a foundation that nobody can touch. So even if your marriage is a wreck right now, start to rebuild that thing day by day without some sort of time clock ticking, and you will be shocked about what you look up and find at some point. Let's give some ideas on what people can invest.
Yeah.
Because if you're tracking with me today, listen, what investments are you making? Where is your proof?
I'm going to give you 3 ideas on what you can invest.
Beautiful.
Number 1, invest in your healthiest thoughts.
Ooh, that's my favorite.
We don't realize how much we think about our spouse versus how much we think for them.
That stings because we've been there.
Yeah. So it's like choosing to water the garden of your marriage in your mind before you even touch the soil.
It's deep. I like it. I like it a lot. I think, what if your first investment wasn't time, it wasn't money, but it was your healthy thinking? And if you're like, well, how do I do that? Because if you're saying that, you're on the road to beautiful transformation. I like this phrase. Like, I want to think of Laura through the most epic, beautiful, generous, kind lens first. That's a thought so when I think of Laura, what is my beautiful, sacrificial, amazing, committed, humble wife? What's she going to do today? It's the most kind, generous lens. And what that produces is ridiculous compassion and love. So not the lens of fear. So the lens of fear or frustration is, my wife's so freaking annoying. I wonder what I'm gonna have to do today to frickin' survive this marriage. That's how people sometimes think about, or my husband is a fat slob and I can't stand him. Hopefully God will be faithful today and I
Dang.
could make it through the day. That's the kind of thoughts people invest.
Yeah.
What if you just tried this? And if you're already pushing back on this, it's for you. It's definitely for you. But if your first investment is to wake up and think of the person that you are connected to with the most epic, kind, generous lens, watch what happens to the rest of your day. So this is what it looks like in real time. So this doesn't sound just like virtue signal, idealistic podcasting. This is how it works for me. I think of Laura first. So what is my beautiful wife carrying today? What's her world like? What might she fear? Where might she find freedom? What is my bride who loves me more than anybody on earth and believes in me? What does she need today? That's a habit. And
Yeah.
from that, it normally leads to something small like a kind text. And what I found over the years of doing this is, to you, that's not a kind text. That's an investment of love that I get to reap from later, often, if you know what I'm talking about. But it's true. Like, so that one habit of me thinking of you through this lens, and it will radically transform you. So husbands, if you're struggling with the way you feel about your wife, please take inventory of what you think about your wife, because how you feel about your wife is a product of what you think about her. And what you do is a product of what you feel. So if your feelings are horrible today, what if I told you can fix them with the way that you think? Radically. Most people aren't going to say that. They're going to be like, I don't feel something. Cool. Well, you don't feel something because you don't think something. I had to change the way I think about myself, and then change the way I think about you. And then my feelings started to match my thinking. And to me, that is the essence of how to stay alive.
Yeah.
How to stay in a vibrant marriage that you actually want to be in.
Yeah, and I would add to that, it works on the other way as well. Wives can do this with their husbands.
They can.
For me, in my forgetful state that sometimes I can find myself in, I've actually, this is a practical thing, I've actually put in my phone reminders 3 times a day.
Yeah.
Around 8 a.m. and then 12 and then somewhere around 4, I think it's 4 or 5, the same thing, different wording, but I've put in there, text Carl something that I'm encouraged by, that you're doing right. And then text Carl something encouraging for his future. You know, little prompts for me help me to remember to think good thoughts about you.
And what's funny,
that's been really helpful for me.
I mentioned that a couple pods ago, and then I saw it on our TikTok. And I saw a comment on there, and some lady was like, First of all, if you start if you start a comment with EHHHH, I'm sending 50 EHHHs right back at you. Really? Like, that's your entry point? Like, just don't comment. Anyway, she was like, this seems like it's disingenuous to me, because if I really wanted to do that, do I need a reminder? Think about how bad that logic is.
Yeah.
So her inference is that if I remind myself of it, it's less important. So she is obviously on a journey of gaining some intellectual momentum, because that's a very short logical walk. To me, it's the surest sign that you care about me. You care about me so much, you put a reminder in your phone.
Right.
I freaking love that. But it's how you have to curate your own thoughts. So to me, it's like now it's a habit. I don't have to remind myself. I start my day thinking about you.
Yeah.
And I think it works really well. So that's our first. Invest your best thoughts towards the person you love. See how it shifts your week.
Yeah. Here's some urgent questions that we can put towards that. And here's a good place to start on this. So something you can think about. Yeah. What's one generous thought I can choose about them today?
Okay, I love that. And here's the pushback. I don't have any. Make one up.
Yeah. If you can't find one, that's a problem.
Yeah, but you can find one.
But you can. You're just choosing not to.
Just pick the most basic. If you're struggling, pick the most basic generous thought, which is like, it. You know what? My husband is trying his best. I choose to believe that. Even if you don't have a lot of evidence right now, it's still a more resourceful way for you to look at him than, I don't think he's ever going to change, but here we go. Horrible.
Yeah. Another one, where have I stopped being curious?
And we did a whole podcast about this. So if you're brand new to the Lights On fam, go back a few pods and we talked about how to like your spouse again. And we talk about curiosity is a sign of flirtation. It's a sign of intrigue. Where have I stopped being curious? And that we do that all the time. Like I know you do that towards me, and you get curious, and I get curious about you. And like, what do you like? It produces more. Like the other day, I said to you, I'm like, what was your junior high experience like? And you talk and I'd never. It was a random grab because I was like, I want to get curious, and I was like, actually, I wonder what you were like when you were 16.
Right.
Boom.
And that's a cool.
It's just a fun thing to talk about.
Yeah. And it's cool because I think there's thousands of things you can ask your spouse. People really struggle with this, to dig a little deeper, because you didn't know them. Maybe you did, but most people didn't know their spouse when they were 13 or like their childhood. Ask some questions about it. Like, what was your biggest memory with your dad? Or like some of those. And now there's actual cards you can buy for this specific reason, like for date nights. Why not invest in that? Get on Amazon, find the like date night curiosity questions for your spouse, and you would have resources for days.
Yeah. Here's a great hard truth. When couples say we don't have anything to talk about, that is a cop out.
Yeah.
Better is, if we were really to get honest, this is also what that could sound like. I don't care enough about you anymore to dig or get curious or creative.
Yep.
We don't have anything to talk about. Literally go to Barnes and Nobles. Get a corny, cheesy game that'll help you and your lack of curiosity brain start to kick a little bit. Just try harder. But we don't have anything to talk about. No, you're choosing
not to
no longer care enough to dig.
Yeah.
So it's just a great opportunity. What's another one?
What have I been thinking that I haven't been honest about?
That's at
a
least
good
3
one.
dinners worth.
That could turn into a fight.
Yeah, it could. And you got to
And
have
that's
one then.
okay.
Yeah. There's a lot of people who would hear that question and say, if I were to ask my spouse, if I were to say a thought that I haven't fully been honest about, it would lead to what? Face that down. It would lead to a confrontation. Why? Well, because the next answer, why? Now, at least you're not avoiding the truth of your marriage. So if you are not allowed to share, here's a thought I haven't been fully honest about. I don't know if I like my job. Oh, all of heaven stood still and the world stopped spinning. Or, oh, wow, I didn't know you felt like that. Could be anything. Or here's a thought. I don't know if I have what it takes today. Find a thought that is vulnerable. Give it to your spouse. Just see what happens. And to me, that's an investment that's worthwhile. Here's my quick personal application check for you if you're watching, and I love this. This is fun. I do love podcasting. Somebody was like, do you like doing pods? I'm like, I do, because I feel like I'm talking directly to somebody. Try this for 7 straight days. Every morning, choose a thought about the person you love in your relationship that honors them. Then act from that thought. So that honors them. I am so grateful that my wife works really hard at what she does. Because that's true, what might I do to make her feel better? I'm going to do this. 7 days. Every day, wake up with the goal to do one random thing. It could be small. It could be a text. Even if you just kept it in that realm. But watch what happens. If it doesn't impact you, email me, DM me, and I will stop doing this pod. I'll stop. So for all my fellow brothers out there trying to continually show up as your better version, if you, for 7 days, think kindly towards your spouse, and out of that comes one action, and you do it for 7 days, it doesn't make your life better, doesn't make your marriage stronger in some way. It doesn't mean perfect, it just means stronger. Please let me know. I'd like to talk about it. I'd like to hear about it. And if I'm wrong, I'm happy to get back on this pod and go, I was wrong. It doesn't work to think kindly about your spouse and tell them that 7 times in a row. I'm happy.
Wow.
I'm happy to remove it.
What is the most dominant thought about your marriage?
I like that.
And whatever that is, what if we had to put that, and you were super honest about it, if you put it on a microphone, on the radio, blasting it, what would that be?
This is great. And we ask people this constantly when we're doing one-on-one stuff that we do. What's your most dominant thought about your marriage? And they sputter. People start to get, no, I was like, whatever you are trying not to say, that's what I want to hear. And why this is so powerful is because if it's honest, you can always build from it. You cannot build from a dishonest thought. It's impossible. You'll build something that breaks down. but whatever your most honest, dominant thought is. So you have roughly 80,000 thoughts a day. Most psychology reports will tell you that at least 70% are going to be negative by default. So if you think about that towards your spouse, you have a lot of thoughts towards them. What's the most dominant one? It could sound like this: I'm scared. Cool. Let's work from there. What's your most dominant thought? It could sound like this: I'm pretty excited about my marriage. All right, cool. What's the most consistent one? It could sound like this: I think I still love him, but I'm not sure he loves me. If you're honest about a thought like that and you pull it out, you're going to realize what that produces. Maybe there's a better thought to be thinking, but you got to know what it is. My theme thought for our marriage is: I chose you and I choose you. You chose me and you choose me. And we're going to enjoy this marriage. That's my most dominant thought, and I've forced it to be. I've said it every day so many times that now that's what my brain fully believes, and that's how my life operates. Now I have to work hard at unwiring that if I don't like it. I chose you, Laura Lentz, and you chose me. Greatest decision of your life. Facts. And we choose each other, and we're going to enjoy this marriage.
Yeah.
That's our baseline. Yeah. And you know that. So it's like we'll look at each other sometimes during a fight or a conflict like we're going to get to the end here because we're going to enjoy this somehow. And it dominates our marriage.
Yep.
So if you don't like the thought that's dominating your marriage, you can switch it right now. We know that to be true after, we think, 23 years of marriage.
No, 22. I was
22.
doing the math because we got married in 2003.
Okay, 22 years of marriage. We know that to be true.
Yeah.
That my most dominant thought in our marriage for years was, I've messed this up, and it's a matter of time before it blows up in everybody's face. I thought about that every single day.
And boy, did it.
Laura, enough. I'm trying to be vulnerable here, and you're throwing shame sickles at me.
Well, sometimes you have to laugh about it.
Today's the day then.
Today's the day.
You've laughed multiple times. But that used to be my dominant thought was,
Yeah.
I'm not going to be able to hold this together because I'm a mess and it's going to hurt people. I got exactly what I thought. Exactly.
Wow.
So I will not, this is it for those of you who believe what we believe, which is, the Bible matters deeply. As a man thinks, so he is. And we don't take this into some weird manifestation journey of like, I think I get a Rolls Royce, I'm going to have one. But you will find yourself in the location, your thoughts dialed up for you in your life GPS.
My phone, my locked screen, what is it? Yeah, locked screen, says my husband is in love with me and is obsessed with me. And that's what's on my phone, so I see it every day.
How many times do you see it a day? Hundreds.
So many times. And again, that's not disingenuous. It's just reminding me and my brain and my neuro pathways and all the things that I work on.
My husband's obsessed with me. So when you think that I'm obsessed with you, how do you feel?
Makes me feel free and light.
And when you feel free and light, what kind of things do you do?
I can do anything.
Yeah.
But it makes me feel safe.
Yeah.
Is the main.
That's a beautiful real-time way of how that works. So when you feel I'm obsessed with you, you feel awesome.
Yeah.
When I feel that you love me and you're committed and that you give me grace, I feel safe to grow. But I know you think that about me. So it's a beautiful, easy way to change. Oh, before we do that, single people, what's the most dominant thought about the marriage you're gonna have? I do this with my daughters all the time, so I know that this works. So maybe you've never heard this before. If you're single, divorced, and you think about maybe getting into another relationship that matters, maybe a marriage, what's your most dominant thought about it? You're going to get exactly that. So if you don't like it, change it. And I like telling the girls, marriage someday is going to be incredible. I'm working on the healthiest me, and when I get to that stage, I'm going to be as ready as I can be. Easy. Cool. All right, Dad, is marriage scary? Is marriage going to be as hard as this person says it is? Is marriage, I always say, be careful what thoughts you're letting take residence in your head, because it's just as true to say this. Marriage is incredible. I don't have to worry about that right now. I'm working on the healthiest me. Boom. Done.
Idea number two, invest your most intentional time.
Big.
We do this with every other area of our lives.
Yeah.
We do it with our kids, with our jobs, everything we do, our health, everything. But for some reason, we think that marriage can just be in this default mode. And I think it's really important to invest in your marriage.
It's like expecting interest to grow in an account you never deposit into. But yet we got people who are withdrawing all the time and they blame the bank. We've done that before when we have ran out of money and kept withdrawing. We're like, how could the bank not let us know? As if it's the bank's
it's their
responsibility. This is what people do with marriage.
Yeah.
It's like, let me get this straight. You have tried to withdraw from your spouse. You don't like the return, and you don't understand that the return is a direct result of what you have invested. So when we look at this through the lens of time, what time can you show me you invest into the most vital relationship that you have?
If you look at your spouse as an actual bank account,
You're an expensive one.
what have you deposited? And then how often do you make withdrawals?
Withdrawals.
How do you
Hold
say
on,
it?
in case someone's new, my wife's
Withdrawal.
Australian.
Withdrawals.
My wife's Australian, which means she somehow thinks it's okay to just butcher our beautiful English language. Withdrawals.
Which, by the way,
It's a withdrawal. Draw.
Australians are closer
Here we
to
go.
being
Here we
English
go.
than you are.
Guess what? I'm going to let you
My
know something.
ancestors
Luzzie,
are English. Yours are not.
I'm going to let you know something here. Nobody cares about Australian history
You
or
guys
the claims
changed-
you make on anything because
Yeah,
you're
but
Australian.
You guys had to change the language. You
We're-
changed the way you spell the language.
Yeah,
Like
it's because
all these
we're the best.
things. Like
We're America. We make up our own rules, and everybody else has to deal with them, including Australia. Deal with it. You took our colors, try to have the same flag colors. You're not going to be us. You're going to be Australian forever. I'm an American. God bless this land. It's in the Bible.
wait, when were
The
you
Bible
guys?
clearly says that the USA is God's country.
Wait, when did you guys get here?
We're not going
17
here.
what?
We're not going here.
Okay.
You just learn how to speak.
I'm pretty sure we were before you guys, but that's fine.
Most people, and to your point,
Yeah,
if I
sorry,
look, if I
most
look, yeah,
people-
if I looked at you as a bank account,
Yep.
and we were to talk about all the wealth of experience watching people's marriages, most people make big investments early. All the low-hanging fruit of early love, all the feelings, the cards, the text, the long conversations. I'm investing. What you're investing in is early romantic dopamine. Nothing more, nothing
100%.
less. Doesn't even matter. It's like, that's why people year 2 or 3, they're like, our love is, I don't know if we love each other as much. No, you're just normal now.
Right.
That's all. And that's why most marriages at year 3, that's when they begin to fray. Year 7 is when they end, because that's the cycle. So most of the time it's like, man, early in our marriage, we were so connected. It's like, yeah, because you did all the dopamine stuff. You bought random gifts. You dressed nicely. You did all the stuff, but then you stopped doing that. You don't have to do the same things early, but the concept of investment producing a withdrawal that matters, it's pretty easy. So maybe look at what you've invested now.
Yeah.
We could call our podcast, What Have You Done For Me Lately? Because it always comes back to
Great
this.
song.
Always comes back to, if the last time you made a heavy investment was like an hour-long conversation on your honeymoon, you know, you're in the red.
Right.
Probably time to spark that thing back up again.
Well, what you feed grows.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. If you can put those thoughts and those intentions into something else as you go on in your marriage, but you're going to get what you put in.
You're
So-
watering something. What you feed grows. So if your marriage isn't growing, don't blame the marriage. Do not blame falling out of love. My personal, I guess,
peeve.
theological pet peeve or idealistic pet peeve is people still say this. We fell out of love. Nobody falls out of love. It
Right.
is a cheap cop out. Nobody falls out of love. People stop choosing to invest in that which they said they used to love, period. Love is a fruit of what you've invested in. I don't feel like we've uncoupled. We've uncoupled because you no longer what? You stop choosing each other. Just say that. There's nothing wrong with that. Problem is people don't want to be honest. They're like, yeah, our marriage faded. I just fell out of love with him. No, you didn't.
Right.
You stopped choosing to think well, to do well, and become someone who continually loves. Just say that. But any young person who's afraid of falling out of love with somebody, impossible. It's impossible to fall out of love. It is possible to stop choosing to think about this thing or person in a way that brings fruit. But let's not pretend any longer that love is a feeling. I feel like I'm in love with you today. Great. I feel great feelings towards you often, but not all the time.
Right.
And then my choice comes into play. So our habits and our choices are what holds us when our feelings lie to us. That's what makes the difference between, I guess, couples that stick it out. And we can speak to that with some, 10 toes down vibes because we've been through a lot, but we've had something built over the years that's got us through some peaks and some valleys.
And that's the thing. Can you talk about that? Because, you said that once to, who were we talking to? Charles, one of our friends.
Yeah.
And you had said that. And I was like, that's really true. Like, because people were like.
Yeah, well, yeah. What I think when it comes to our marriage, there was a lot of great things about it.
Right.
So much so, we made it through horrific infidelity.
Yes.
So there's one way to hold a couple that's been through what we've been through, which is like, I want to know about marriage from people who have never had that. That's beautiful. That's great. And there's couples like us who maybe our marriage is way stronger than we knew, or maybe someone else can never conceive or even think about because we made it through,
we were able to get through
what
that
you
crap.
should not be able to make it through.
Yeah.
How? Why? Obviously, the grace of God, almost all of it. That's a fact. And then there's a little bit of stuff that we've tried to do really well. And we've done it our whole lives. And we're still married. And we've been through some stuff. So I think there's a lot of value to it.
Yeah, your intentional time is a great reflection of the safety of your marriage.
It's interesting. Well said. You've been reading your deep marriage books. Some of the things that you're saying here, I'm like, that's a really full sentence. Your intentional time is a great reflection of the safety of your marriage.
Well, I'm big. That's my biggest thing is the safety. Talking to women a lot, that's what I ask them. Does he make you feel safe?
You know what's under the hood. So this is why this is a powerful thought. Like the more you have, the safer the marriage is. The less you have, the smaller the storm has to be to rock your boat. So we've invested a lot of intentional time with each other. So I know what you fear right now. I know what you love. I know where your heart's at. I know where your motivation's at. So the storm that hits us, I already know what's in this boat. Often people will they'll get in some huge storm and you'll hear this. I had no idea you felt like that. You didn't? Of course you didn't. Because it would have taken time for you to get to know what's going on. So it's like sometimes when people go through a fire and you're like, I don't even know who I'm married to.
Yep.
I don't even know who I'm with. Well, that's a problem. There's a way you can dig into that and find out exactly who you're married to now before something comes across your bow that rocks your boat. So the more time you have, the more trust you have. That was a bar.
I was across the bow, across your boat. What? That was amazing.
Now is the time to protect your most sacred relationship. If you are listening to this, let me get spiritual for a second. Maybe God led you here. Maybe this conversation, there's a billion podcast conversations someone could listen to today. And you're here listening to us talk about how to make sure that the marriage that you say you love or the relationship that you're passionate about, how can you keep it beautiful? Now's the time to protect it. Pull one trigger today that prove to me, if I were to look at you, if I were to meet with you one-on-one, you say my marriage is the most important thing. The first question I would say is, give me your phone. Where do you keep your schedule? And I'd look at it and I go, you're full of stuff. You don't care about your marriage at all. You might think you do, but your life doesn't show it. So today you can add one thing to proof. I got a habit. I can prove to you that Laura matters to me. Prove to me that your wife matters. Prove to me your husband matters. Where's your time curated? So it can be a walk. And we've told people about our 10 and 10 thing now, and it works for a lot of people. We have it's about a 6:30 walk every day, 10 minutes you, 10 minutes me, and we're home. Normally goes to 30 minutes. Maybe it's a weekend away. Give me some sort of proof. And this one comes out of pain, because I don't want you to miss this. I think there was a time in New York where we were really, really pulled in a million different directions. And we took a weekend away. We went to Miami. We had the most beautiful weekend. And I looked at you and I said, what if we did this once a month? Where we just, it doesn't have to be Miami, but we just vacate the premises for 24 hours. And because I feel, filled. You feel filled. I feel like I see you. I know you. I hear you. And we were like, let's do it. We didn't do it. It was my job to make it happen. I did not make it happen. And I look back at that and I go, if I would have maybe pressed a pedal there, what might have been the result? Now we're here. It's cool. But maybe if you're listening to this, there is something, a small thing you can do right now intentionally and build a habit. It will become sacred. So that's what I'm asking you to consider. If you're open to this, what can you do today? Pull one trigger. Prove your priorities. So schedule one deliberate moment. Doesn't have to be big, where you give your spouse the energy you normally give to everybody else. It's a good one.
So here's an explosive question. Where can you
You're
prove
an explosive
to me?
woman. What if we got real weird? You're an explosive lover.
Ew, that's so
It's
weird.
disgusting.
Where can
It is. I
So
hate when
stupid.
people talk about stuff like that.
Yeah.
I actually don't
the
like
word
the word lover.
Yes, I
The
don't
word
like
lover
it.
is gross to me.
Same. Why is that?
Hi, lover.
Ew.
Gross.
It's just
That's
cringy.
just our opinion. If
Yeah.
you do that,
That's cute.
still,
Maybe for them
it's
it's
cute
great.
for you, not cute for us. It's, hey, lover.
Anyway, stop. That's weird.
You're right.
Okay.
Continue, lover.
Okay, explosive. Where can you prove to me with your time that your marriage is the priority that you say it is?
Okay. Double down. Who gets the best version of you? Honestly, your coworkers or your spouse, your family. People do not want to get honest on this one. But this is personal for us. I mean, I have talked about this with you over the years because it's just dawned on me because we spend so much time together. We realize basically that if we're accurate, most couples would relate to this. Other people get our best versions way too much. And we get each other's most spent version if you're not careful. So what would it look like to flip that around? So like think about the way it works practically. Like you look nicer when you're going to see people who matter less. You're more planned to go meet with people who matter less. You're switched on to the people that matter less. And then you get home and you're the real version of you. And the connotation there is that it's negative. I started kicking around like, what would it look like if you got the best, everybody else got the rest? And it's just small changes, but it's like, let me not wear a hat every day.
I like you in hats.
I know you do, but it's the principle. Let me dress up for a date that you didn't ask me to dress up for. Let me live out some of the stuff. And it does change. I'm like, when has Laura, because normally it's like if I come home and I've had like a day that's been really full and you're like, how are you? I'm like, shut up. Shut it. That's how I am. Shut it. So I just gave my best to people who I'm not married to that don't matter as much as you. And you get I'm tired. This cannot be the way.
And this happens with families all the time, like dads especially. They come home.
Oh, yeah. It's tough.
And kids are excited. Dad's been gone all day. And you have a choice to either come in and be like, okay, I'm going to give my best to my kids. I probably have maybe 2 hours with them before bedtime.
Max.
Let's have fun, or let's, whatever it is. And it can become such a beautiful time for you and your kids. A lot of times dads will come in, they're tired. They kind of shrug at wifey. They like sit down at dinner and there's no interaction. It's just get through bedtime for the kids kind of thing. And it's like,
it's normal. It's not
normal,
a shamey thing, but there's a better way.
There's a better way. And then your kids get the best of you.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful.
Most of the time when you're mad at your child, and you can speak to the wives. I can speak to the husbands here from my experience. Dads, when they realize this, it's a hard moment, but it's beautiful. If you're mean to your kids, most of the time it is a overflow of what you can't say to your boss or your frustration.
And that wives get that.
So you're frustrated at work. You don't feel good about yourself. You're not happy with your job. You got a lot of stress. And you come home, you're like, my wife doesn't cook well enough. And my son's got a bad attitude. I'm not saying these two things are necessarily false. I am saying that if you loved yourself and you felt complete and you felt empowered, you felt like, you know what, not everything is where it has to be, but it's not where it could be. I'm on a journey moving forward. You would look at your son different and you would look at your spouse different. So if you're overly critical of everything in your house, why aren't you that critical about your workspace? Why aren't you that critical about something else? Like, why are you bringing your best criticism home? So it's worth a check if that's you. So if you feel like there's tension in your house, typically it's going to come back to you.
I think you've done a really good job of that because, you've talked about this before, but with your shame and the stuff that you dealt with, you had to work really hard at liking and loving yourself. And that changed everything for our family.
Yeah.
So I think that's a really important thing for men or women, whoever is dealing with some of those things. When you look at yourself, how do you feel? Because you can't love anyone any more than you love yourself. So loving yourself first, then you have the ability to project that onto your family, your spouse,
It's the lens
everything else.
with which you look through everything through. And it flows in number 3.
Yep.
Give our last one. This is our last investment idea to our huge, groundbreaking, never, ever before spoken about. If you invest consistently, small things over time, your marriage will have big opportunity, big fruit. No one's ever said it before.
Have they not?
They have.
Oh,
Maybe, but not as cool.
I am not getting some of your jokes today either.
Please just read the third bar.
Invest in yourself, because
What
the
you were
most
just saying,
generous thing you can bring to your marriage is a whole you.
The best thing you can bring to your marriage is a whole you. It's like a band with one instrument that has not been tuned for months. Throws the whole song off. Even if it's just one little thing. And I was like, watch it. It's like a conductor that is running around making sure the orchestra is, everything's complete, not realizing he doesn't have a shirt on or he's forgotten something key. Remember that I left one time to speak at our church and you said, babe, do you want to bring your pants? And I had my jacket, my shirt. I might have even had my shoes on and my boxers.
Yeah.
And I had forgotten to put my pants on.
Classic.
That is a mind that is way too full.
Yeah.
And that can be a beautiful word picture of what a marriage can be like when you're like, wait a second, I have not even considered myself or how I'm doing. And I think your spouse does not need a perfect version of you, but they're going to need a present one, an alive, dynamic, evolving version. And that is what's on the table today. So I think that's learning, breathing, creating, laughing. And what do you think for women on
I
this?
think this is a big one for women because we often, especially Christian women, and men, I don't know, but yes, you asked me about women. We tend to put everyone else first, especially mums, wives. We make sure everyone else is good and all the things are happening and life is moving and we've got this perfect family. Everyone's dressed to the nines and all of those things. But then we put ourselves last.
Yeah.
And I'm real big on switching that because I don't think it's healthy. I don't think it works well in the family when the mum puts themselves last. We're the last to get ready. We're the last to, make appointments for ourselves. We're the last to go to the doctor. All of those things because we want to and that's lovely. It's beautiful because our nature is to nurture. But we need to start nurturing ourselves first.
Beautiful.
And looking after ourselves, because when we put ourselves first, the rest of the family gets the best of us and we can project more positive things than negative.
It's beautiful. And with you, and this is a dynamic revelation in our marriage, because if you are happy with you and you feel like you're alive, everybody benefits. If you don't, it kind of sucks for all of us.
100%.
And for me too. So I think the best, and I will save somebody, some bad Christian teaching here. Yes, the first shall be last, the last shall be first. Put other people before, your own need. These are beautiful spiritual tenets. What is missed though, is that if you go back to, let's just say you are a follower of Jesus, love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, all your mind. Then love your neighbor. That's how Jesus broke it down. The inference is like, in
Love
order
God and
to
others,
put everybody else first, I've got to make sure I'm good to go. That's a simple thing. So I said something a while back and somebody was like freaking out about it. I put you second and the family third.
Yeah.
First is me making sure I am right with God.
Yes.
If that is a problem for somebody, it ain't with me. Take that up with God. But that miss right there, it's like, I put myself, my wife comes first. My marriage comes first. It won't stay like that.
Yeah.
How are you doing? Where's your soul at? Where's your mind at? Where's your, where are your needs not being met or being met? What's your fear? What's your frustration? These are things that have to come out of a man first to be able to lead the way that I believe we're created to lead. Very simple concept, very underused. And over time, it kills people. So what if you think the version of you that is so selfless, what if it's actually selfish because they get a dead you, a sad you, a burdened you? I talked to a dad. This is real time, okay? I was like, you need to go to, as a friend in Virginia, I said, you need to go to this therapy intensive place because he's dealing with a whole bunch of stuff. He said, I can't, man. I can't. I'll miss my son's wrestling match. And I went, that really? So let me get this straight. How long have you been telling yourself that story? How long have you needed to get help? Yeah, man, but I'm a dad first, man. I got to be there for my son's wrestling practice. Let me get this straight. So you won't take a weekend to get 2 years of therapy. So
5 years of therapy.
you'll miss, because you're afraid you're going to miss showing up to your son's wrestling practice hungover, ugly spirit, torn up from the floor up inside, nasty. But you're there for your son. Have you ever thought about what kind of dad he's getting in the car with? I'm pretty sure your son, when he's 37, will trade that one practice
That
you
one
weren't
little
there
weekend,
to the one you came back the week after and you looked like you were alive. So for the dad that is, in his mind, dying on the sword of selflessness, I would ask you to consider something that could be more true. The better you are, the better dad you are. So to pretend that you can lead on empty as a dad, there's a better way for you, my brother. That's a fact.
Yeah, and I think it's good to ask yourself, like, what used to make me feel alive that I've stopped doing?
Yeah.
And I talked to someone the other day, a woman who she was like, feeling terrible about herself, overweight, like just feels yuck inside. Never takes care of her hair and nails, like never does anything for herself. But man, is she there for her kids to nag and like yell and be there for them.
Right.
And it's like, I said to her, like, what if just for 6 months, because that's a realistic goal, maybe even 3 months, but 6 months.
6 or 7.
Oh, gosh. Just for 6 months, what if you put yourself first and you committed to going to the gym? Like pay the money and put yourself first, go to the gym. What if you did your hair, like went and got your hair done every 2 months?
Yeah.
And get your nails done every 2 weeks. Like do something that makes you feel alive, that you've stopped doing. Why?
Beautiful.
Why have you stopped doing that? What if you invested in yourself? And she was like, it was like a light bulb went off, and I'm like, my gosh.
And
like,
she's wildly different.
Yeah. 100%.
Wildly now. And from that one shift.
It's just little things that we can do to fuel our relationships, ourselves, to feel better and be better.
Beautiful. And he will end with this. And I think this is big. This is big. Like this could be a revelatory moment for someone to think about, like, what, rather than complain, consider your investment. And here's what I would suggest if you're going, okay, here's a really fun ownership moment you can say if it works for women. For the man, here's what I like. Spend the next 7 days thinking that you're the solution to so many issues that surround you. What might that produce? And immediately, if you push back, 100% for you. Well, I'm not the issue. Right away. I hate that podcast. That guy's going to tell me that I'm the problem. I remember a friend told me, he's like, I'm not talking to you because you're going to tell me that I'm the problem. I'm like, yeah, it's been a pleasure, Brody. We're not talking anymore because I would say that. But I'm not the problem. She's the problem. I'm not saying she doesn't have problems. I'm saying you have a role to play. First,
start with
handle your role. Then let's talk. There has never yet, in my experience, and I'll go all the way back to my early as a pastor till right now, where a husband has owned his side of the tracks and regretted it. The dudes who sit there and say, well, I'm like, yeah, but, and there's no buts. Just for 1 week, what if you're the solution? Look at all the problems. My family isn't connected enough. My wife doesn't encourage me. I feel discouraged. What if you're the answer to every single solution? It's so much fun. And I do believe, Lazik, it works on the flip. Am I right?
Absolutely.
To a degree, this is power. So my husband doesn't do A, B, and C. What's your role in that?
Right.
And it's not a acquiesce and an invalidation of feelings. It's empowerment for your feelings.
Well, I think it's amazing when we take our eyes off ourselves and we put that focus, that same energy that we put into everything that's wrong. What if we changed it and like looked at our spouse and said, what can I focus on just for a week that I can pull out of this person and encourage them in. See what happens to your relationship when you do that.
You know what's fun about this? And we'll end with this. I believe that like what we've learned is we'll outpace each other, and that's the best way to change each other. Mm-hmm. So rather than get frustrated with you about something, I just start doing it and vice versa. And I feel like a bum when I know you've said something and you're living it and I'm not. I'm like, dang it, I gotta, so it's like, if I want you to go to the gym more, well, I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to plan the time, right? You're more consistent in the gym than me. So if I'm ever like, I don't have time, you're living it. Or you've asked me to pick up the shoes 87 times. You don't ask anymore. You just freaking pick up shoes now. I don't go, good, woman, submit. Just like the Bible says, that's a submitted woman over there. It's always the Texas evangelical red state. Submit. It's my favorite doctrine in the Bible. Women should submit. I don't think like that when you ask me to do something and I don't do it, and your response is to, I'll do it. Mm-hmm. I go, oh, I got to check myself. Yeah. So it's the most beautiful way to challenge each other as a couple is just to be the solution to that thing and watch somebody rise to the level. Of course, this isn't true across the board. Nothing's true all the time. Right. But in this sense, what if you this week, just for 7 days, I'm the solution to every challenge in my marriage. See what comes of that kind of mentality. Of course, other people have factors in it. We're not saying they don't. What I'm saying is if you invest small bits of ownership, time, passion, love, and thought into the relationships that matter the most, you will never be sorry a day in your life. This has been Lights On Podcast, Laura Lentz, co-hosted by
Carl Lentz.
We love you. Email us at
hello@carlandlaura.com.
We love it. We get great emails from passionate people. Please include yourself in that. Do you have a question? Do you have a frustration? Do you have something you cannot share with anybody else? You can share it with us, and we'll make sure we put your photo up when we talk about your story and your address.
We would never do that.
Send us anything on your heart, and we'll keep bringing it to the table.
And be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yep.
At Lights On with Carl Lentz, which
like
still
that.
needs to be changed.
We're out of here next week. We love you.
Send this to someone that can help.
Send it. Bye.